Morning. It's Wednesday, June 7th, and I want to talk about that condo situation in Surfside this morning. Seems that in Florida, condos were a hot item, selling well into the mid-100,000s. This building, as you probably all know by now, was collapsed on June 25th, I think it was, Monday, July 5th. They demolished the other half of the building. Now, I was a condo owner myself for many years out on the north shore of Long Island. It was beautiful out there, and I mentioned that, I think, a couple days ago in one of my rants. And we owned that property for 28 years, and we went out there almost every weekend in the summertime, and even we went out sometimes in the wintertime. Because out there in the wintertime, it was much calmer and much quieter. There weren't a lot of tourists and East Enders wandering around. But what struck me about this entire situation in Florida is of the condos. Didn't get any satisfaction when the condo collapsed, and didn't get any satisfaction when the condo was demolished. In fact, the condo owners got together and they are suing the condo association. Now, it seems to me that's sort of like suing yourself. Because if you own a piece of real estate, a house or something, and it gets destroyed, you have to have insurance to cover you. Nobody's just giving you your money back. Now, we had some insurance on the condo we owned in case something happened inside the condo, but not if the condo building was destroyed. I'm wondering how this is going to affect those people. Seems to me that the building association is responsible for something, but that's like you own the building. You're part of that association, even though you're not necessarily a formal member. Well, it turns out that owners of the units in the Champlain South Condo Complex, that was the name of the building in Surfside, have filed a class action suit after their building partially collapsed on Thursday. And as of Friday, there were a lot of people missing. 150 some odd people were missing. And rescue crews have been working. But I have to think the current totals right now are something like 21 dead and 120 some odd still missing. And actually, some people who were missing actually turned up, so that was pretty good. But doesn't it seem strange that you're a condo owner, the association works on your behalf, but essentially they got a problem, and now they're suing the association? And it seems like that means you're sort of like suing yourself in my mind. Now, I know there's a whole bunch of stories going on about the condo and an inspection that was done, and this is the 40-year recertification of this building to say that it's safe to live in, which obviously it turned out it wasn't safe to live in at this point. So I don't know if these people who own these units are going to collect a dime, because it seems to me that unless the condo association, and I assume if you're a member of the unit, if you own a unit, you know whether you're insured or not for this disaster that has happened. So I don't know what's going to happen. I haven't heard anything about that. The only thing that I have heard is that the association has been sued. Now, I know that when you own a piece of real estate property, you're responsible for it, right? And it seems to me the association was responsible for part of this disaster because 3 or 4 years ago, cracks were discovered in the building, and they undertook an inspection, which was ongoing at this current time. And the so-called costs associated with correcting everything that was wrong with the building and making it a stable entity was in the area of $15 million. Now, the people who are suing want to be compensated for this unfathomable loss. That's what the court document called it, an unfathomable loss. And they presented as evidence an aerial photo of the partially collapsed building because the demolition, they did that afterward, and that was for safety's sake. And the suit seeks damages exceeding $5 million. Now, it seems to me if these condo units were going for $300,000 or $400,000 or $500,000, and there's 21 or so units, that's more than $5 million. But the article I read said it exceeds $5 million, so maybe it's $10 million or $20 million. They're going to try and get everything back. Now, this condo is a 40-year-old building, and it was undergoing this recertification process. And an engineer was hired to analyze the building. There's a section in this lawsuit that alleges that the catastrophe could have been prevented through the exercise of ordinary care, safety measures, and oversight. So it's accusing the condo association of failing to disclose information about the safety measures and oversight, as well as failing to monitor the building's stability. Well, I don't know if these owners really have a leg to stand on. As I said before, they are part of the building. Did any of these people who are owners complain, ask for information every year, make sure that the building was being properly maintained? I think they're out of luck. I think they're not going to get anything from this lawsuit because, in my mind, they're as negligent as the association. Certainly, if you give the association permission to take care of handling the building, I would expect that periodically you would get some kind of report on the status of the building, on anything that needs to be fixed or repaired or updated. I don't know if any of that happened. So I think this is a case of a nonsensical lawsuit. I mean, it's a terrible thing. I mean, a lot of people died in this building. So I would expect there's going to be a lot of lawsuits aimed at this building association from people who lost loved ones. Because I don't think anybody that was dragged out of the rubbish was alive. And of course, they hired a lawyer. They've already got a lawyer working on this. He not only is he representing the owners, he intends to represent people who are renting there. Now, I don't know how badly damaged a renter could be. Maybe they lose their building security or something like that, but I don't see how anybody who's renting an apartment in that place has much to sue about, except maybe the all of their belongings that were lost in the building that they had to leave behind that they couldn't get out. So if they lost furniture, clothing, maybe they could sue for the value of that. But on that, I say, they probably should be carrying some kind of homeowner's insurance, renter's insurance. So I don't know. I think the whole thing is, as some kids would say, in Yiddish, it's a mishmash, and we'll see what happens. So that's what I have to say today, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.